Yes, Your Honor. I can certainly imagine platforms that would be subject to this law that would indeed have First Amendment rights. I mean, we point out in our brief that when we think that if you had an internet platform that indeed had a platform-driven message, was selective on the front end, Democrats.com, I think that would be a very different kind of analysis compared to a company like Facebook or YouTube, who is in the business of just basically trying to get as many eyeballs on their site as possible.
Well, why is it different? You know, when we had the parade case, we said they don't have a lot of rules, but they have some rules, and we're going to respect the rules that they do have, even though they let a lot of people come in. They don't let a few people come in, and that seems to be quite important to them. And similarly here, I mean, Facebook, YouTube, these are the paradigmatic social media companies that this law applies to. And they have rules about content. They say, you know, you can't have hate speech on the site. They say you can't have misinformation with respect to particular subject matter areas. And they seem to take those rules. I mean, you know, somebody can say maybe they should enforce them even more than they do, but they do seem to take them seriously. They have thousands and thousands of employees who are devoted to enforcing those rules. So why aren't they making content judgments, not quite as explicit as the kind in your hypothetical, but definitely they're making content judgments about the kind of speech that they think they want on the site and the kinds of speech that they think is intolerable?
Well, there's a lot in there, Your Honor. Maybe I can start with the Hurley case. I mean, I think what was going on in Hurley, I think, is that you had a parade.
Could you maybe just start with the more general question?
Sure, for sure.
I mean, I'm happy for you to talk about Hurley. I don't want to, you know,
I'll
get
start
in
wherever
your way.
you want. It's your time, not mine, Your Honor. So, yeah. So, certainly, the broader question about rules of the road and the like. Common carriers have always conducted their businesses subject to general rules of decorum. I think the fact that the platforms have these general rules of decorum, the fact remains that upwards of 99%, for all that content moderation, that's really a product of the fact that they host so much content. But the fact remains that upwards of 99% of what goes on the platforms is basically passed through without review. Yes, they have spam filters on the front end and the like, and that's not meaningfully—
But that 1% seems to have gotten some people extremely angry. You know, the 1% that's like, we don't want anti-vaxxers on our site, or we don't want insurrectionists on our site. I mean, that's what motivated these laws, isn't it? And that's what's getting people upset about them, is that other people have different views about what it means to provide misinformation as to voting and things like that. And, you know, that's the point. There's some sites that can say this kind of talk about vaccination policy is good, and some people can say it's bad, but it's up to the individual speakers.
The fact that some people are angry about the content moderation policies doesn't show that is their speech. And my friends talk about their advertisers. Well, we don't know whether the advertisers think it's their speech or whether they just disagree with the speech. And their advertisers and people who are angry with speech don't get a heckler's veto on Florida's law.